In the quiet expanse of the Andromeda galaxy, where the stars burn faint but steady, a young astronomer named Lyra adjusts her telescope. Her eyes are drawn to the eternal glow of the Red Dwarf, ancient, unassuming stars that have outlived countless civilizations. They are not the brightest in the sky, but their light carries whispers of secrets older than time itself. Tonight, something changes. A signal, faint but unmistakable, pulses from one of the stars. It's not random, it's deliberate, a message, or maybe a warning. Against the advice of her mentor, Lyra makes a decision that will alter the course of her life. She charts a course toward the source of the signal, leaving behind the safety of her observatory for the unknown. As her ship departs, the hum of the Red Dwarfs grows louder, almost as if they're calling her name. What awaits her out there? A truth about the universe, or perhaps a truth about herself. This is where her story begins. As the stellar echo glides into the orbit of the first Red Dwarf, the cockpit is washed in a deep, crimson glow that feels almost alive. Lyra's instruments flicker with strange energy fluctuations, patterns that don't match anything she's seen before. The Red Dwarf's light seems to pulse in time with the signal she detected, as if the star itself is reaching out to her. Unable to resist the pull of the unknown, she sets her course for a nearby asteroid, its jagged surface glowing faintly under the star's eerie light. The moment her boots touch the rocky ground, her suit's sensors buzz with activity. Beneath her feet, the asteroid trembles faintly, a rhythmic vibration that matches the Red Dwarf's steady pulse. It's as if the asteroid is breathing, alive in a way that defies explanation. The air, or lack of it, feels charged electric, as though the very fabric of space around her is holding its breath. Lyra's heart races, but her curiosity drives her forward. She kneels, her gloved hands brushing the surface, and pulls out a drilling tool. As the drill bites into the rock, the vibrations grow stronger, almost urgent. Then it happens. The drill strikes something solid, but not rock. A crystalline structure, buried deep within the asteroid, begins to glow faintly, its light matching the rhythm of the Red Dwarf above. Lyra carefully extracts the artifact, holding it up to the starlight. It hums faintly in her hands, a sound that resonates deep within her chest. The light intensifies, brighter and brighter, until she has to shield her eyes. And then, the asteroid begins to shake violently, as if awakened from a long slumber. What she's uncovered is no ordinary object. The artifact pulses with an energy that feels ancient, as though it carries the memories of stars long extinguished. The vibrations grow louder, more insistent, and Lyra realizes she's not alone. The asteroid, the Red Dwarf, the artifact, they're all connected. But how? And why now? The answers seem to lie just beyond her reach, hidden in the glow of the stars. As the tremors grow stronger, Lyra knows she's standing on the edge of something far greater than she ever imagined. The artifact's light flickers, casting strange shadows across the asteroid's surface, and for a moment, she swears she hears a voice, soft, distant, and filled with urgency. The stars are speaking, and Lyra is listening, but what they're trying to tell her could change everything. The asteroid shudders violently, cracks spidering across its surface, as Lyra scrambles back to the stellar echo. Her ship's engines roar to life, just as the ground beneath her gives way, chunks of rock hurtling into the void. She barely makes it inside, the artifact clutched tightly in her hands. The moment the airlock seals, warning lights flood the cockpit. The artifact's energy surges, sending erratic pulses through the ship's systems. Panels flicker, alarms blare, and the autopilot fails. Lyra's hands fly across the controls, her breath shallow as she fights to stabilize the ship. With a sharp hiss, the engines stutter, and the stellar echo lurches dangerously close to the collapsing asteroid. Lyra's fingers tremble as she initiates a manual override, bypassing the damaged systems. It's a risky move, one she's only ever practiced in simulations, but there's no time to second guess. The ship groans, its hull creaking under the strain, but finally, the engines steady. The artifact's glow dims slightly, as if acknowledging her efforts. Catching her breath, Lyra glances at the artifact, now resting on the console. Its surface shimmers, and suddenly, a holographic map materializes in the air before her. Stars blink into existence, forming constellations she recognizes. But there's a path, a glowing line that leads to another red dwarf, far across the galaxy. Her heart skips a beat. This isn't random. The artifact isn't just a relic, it's a guide. As she studies the map, a strange sensation settles over her. The artifact's glow pulses faintly, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. It's as if it's alive, as if it's waiting for her to make a choice. The unease in her gut grows, but so does her resolve. She's come too far to turn back now. Adjusting her course, Lyra sets the coordinates for the next red dwarf, the stellar echo humming softly as it aligns with the path. The artifact's light grows brighter, casting long shadows across the cockpit. It feels like a silent companion, urging her forward. But as the ship accelerates into the void, Lyra can't shake the feeling that this journey is about more than stars and signals. The artifact, the map, the way it seems to pulse in sync with her thought, sits as if the universe itself is guiding her. And though she doesn't know what lies ahead, she knows one thing for certain. The answers she seeks are out there, waiting in the eternal glow of the red dwarfs. The journey to the second red dwarf feels endless, the void of space stretching in every direction. But as the stellar echo approaches its destination, the star's crimson light bathes the ship in an otherworldly glow. There, orbiting the red dwarf like a forgotten sentinel, is the derelict alien station. Its structure is unlike anything Lyra has ever encountered. Sleek, angular, and covered in intricate symbols that shimmer faintly in the starlight. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes they match the markings on the artifact she carries. This isn't a coincidence. This is a connection. Docking her ship with the station, Lyra feels a mix of awe and unease. The airlock hisses open, revealing a dimly lit interior that hums with faint energy. The walls are lined with the same crystalline material as the artifact, glowing softly in rhythmic pulses. It's as if the station is alive, its energy flowing in sync with the red dwarf itself. Stepping inside, she's struck by the silence, a heavy, almost reverent quiet that makes her footsteps echo unnaturally. As she moves deeper into the station, her suit's sensors pick up faint energy readings, leading her to a central chamber. The room is vast, its high ceiling lost in shadows, and at its center stands a massive holographic projector. The moment Lyra steps closer, the chamber comes to life. The projector activates, bathing the room in a soft blue light. A figure materializes before her, an alien being, tall and ethereal, its form shimmering like starlight. Its voice resonates through the chamber, deep and resonant, though the language is foreign. Yet somehow, Lyra understands. The hologram speaks of an ancient civilization, one that harnessed the energy of the Red Dwarfs for centuries. But their ambition grew unchecked, and they began to drain the stars themselves, disrupting the delicate balance of the cosmos. The hologram warns of the consequences: galaxies destabilized, stars extinguished, and a ripple effect that could unravel the fabric of reality. The recording grows more urgent, the alien's voice trembling with emotion. The Red Dwarfs are not mere stars, it says. They are the keepers of equilibrium. To misuse their energy is to invite destruction. Before Lyra can process the weight of the message, the hologram flickers and fades. The station shudders violently, the crystalline walls cracking and splintering as the energy within becomes unstable. Alarms blare, the once steady hum now a deafening roar. Lyra turns and sprints back the way she came, her heart pounding in her chest. The artifact in her hand pulses erratically, its light growing brighter with every step. She barely makes it back to the stellar echo as the station begins to collapse around her. The airlock seals just as a cascade of debris crashes against the ship's hull. Lyra grips the controls, her hands trembling as she maneuvers the ship away from the disintegrating station. Behind her, the Red Dwarf's light flickers, as if mourning the loss of its ancient guardian. Once the danger has passed, Lyra sits in stunned silence, the artifact resting on the console. Its surface is now etched with new symbols, glowing faintly as if activated by the station's energy. She realizes this is more than a guide. It's a key, unlocking fragments of a story that spans millennia. The warning echoes in her mind, a stark reminder of the stakes. The Red Dwarfs are not just stars, they are the threads holding the universe together, and she, whether by chance or fate, has become part of their story. As the stellar echo drifts away from the dying station, Lyra knows there's no turning back. The artifact's light pulses steadily, a silent promise of what's to come. She sets her course for the next Red Dwarf, her resolve stronger than ever. The stars are speaking, and their message is clear. The fate of the cosmos rests in her hands. Back on the stellar echo, Lyra sits in the dim light of the cockpit, her mind racing. The alien message lingers like an echo, its words etched into her thoughts. The Red Dwarfs, she realizes, are far more than ancient stars. They are guardians, their faint but enduring light, holding the delicate equilibrium of the universe together. The artifact in her hands feels heavier now, its glow pulsing faintly as if alive. It's not just a relic or a guide, it's a key, one that could either restore the balance or unleash chaos if it falls into the wrong hands. As she examines the artifact more closely, its surface shifts, revealing new patterns and symbols. They seem to tell a story, one of creation and destruction, of civilizations rising and falling under the watchful glow of the Red Dwarfs. But before she can delve deeper, a sharp beep from the console interrupts her focus. A distress signal flashes on the screen, its origin a nearby colony on the edge of a dying star system. The message is fragmented, but the urgency is clear. Help us, we are under attack. Lyra's stomach knots. The colony is far from her planned route, and stopping to investigate could mean losing precious time. But the thought of leaving innocent lives in peril feels impossible to ignore. She hesitates, her hand hovering over the controls. The artifact pulses faintly, as if urging her to stay on course, but the distress signal grows louder, more insistent. Her decision comes swiftly. Adjusting the ship's trajectory, she sets a course for the colony, her heart pounding with a mix of determination and unease. The artifact's glow dims slightly, as if disapproving, but Lyra pushes the thought aside. If the Red Dwarfs are guardians of balance, then protecting life must be part of that duty. Still, a nagging voice in the back of her mind whispers a warning. This could be a trap. As the stellar echo approaches the colony, the scene that unfolds is grim. The once thriving settlement is now a ruin, its structures crumbling under the weight of an unnatural energy. Strange ships hover in the distance, their silhouettes menacing against the backdrop of the dying star. Lyra's sensors pick up faint life signs survivors, but barely. She knows she can't face this alone, but turning back isn't an option. Docking her ship in the shadows of a derelict tower, Lyra steps out into the chaos. The air is thick with smoke and the acrid scent of burning metal. Her suit's sensors pick up movement ahead, survivors scrambling for cover, their faces etched with fear. But there's something else too. A shadowy figure watches from the distance, its presence sending a chill down her spine. It's not one of the colonists. Before she can react, a low hum fills the air, and the artifact in her hand pulses violently. The shadowy figure steps forward, its features obscured by a flickering cloak of energy. "You shouldn't have come here," it says, its voice cold and mechanical. Lyra's grip tightens on the artifact as the figure raises a weapon, its design unlike anything she's ever seen. In that moment, she realizes the truth. The distress signal wasn't just a cry for help, it was bait. And now, she's face to face with the very faction that seeks to exploit the Red Dwarf's power. The artifact's glow intensifies, its light casting long shadows across the ruined colony. Lyra knows she's outmatched, but she also knows one thing for certain. The fate of the universe depends on what happens next. With the artifact in one hand and her resolve in the other, Lyra braces herself. The shadows close in, but she stands her ground. The stars are watching, and so is the universe. The colony is a battlefield. Smoke billows from shattered domes, and the ground is littered with debris. Above, rogue drones circle like vultures, their metallic shells glinting in the faint light of the dying star. Lyra's heart pounds as she activates the Stellar Echo's defenses, the ship's turrets firing precise bursts of energy to scatter the drones, but the odds are against her. The drones move with eerie coordination, swarming the ship with relentless precision. One slips through her defenses, its energy blade slicing into the Stellar Echo's engines. A shudder runs through the ship, and the control panel lights up with warnings. She's losing power, fast. Forced to land, Lyra guides the ship to a shaky touchdown just outside the colony's perimeter. The moment the engines cut out, she grabs the artifact and her survival kit, rushing into the chaos. The colonists, huddled in the shadows of a crumbling shelter, watch her with a mix of fear and desperation. Their leader, a grizzled man with a cybernetic arm, steps forward. "You shouldn't have come," he says, his voice heavy with regret. "They'll destroy anyone who gets in their way." Lyra's gaze hardens. "Who's behind this?" The man hesitates, then gestures to the drones overhead. "A faction shadowy, ruthless. They came demanding information about the Red Dwarfs. When we refused, they sent these things to tear us apart." His words hang in the air, a chilling reminder of what's at stake. The artifact in Lyra's hand pulses faintly, its light reflecting in the colonists' haunted eyes. She kneels beside a wounded colonist, her mind racing. The faction's reach is farther than she imagined, their methods brutal and unchecked. If they're willing to destroy an entire colony to protect their secrets, what else are they capable of? The artifact's glow intensifies, as if urging her to act. She knows she can't do this alone. Turning to the colonists, Lyra speaks with quiet determination. "I can't undo what's happened, but I can offer you a chance to fight back. My ship is damaged, but if we work together, we can repair it. In return, I'll take you with me, somewhere safe where they can't reach you." The colonists exchange wary glances, but the leader nods slowly. "We've got nothing left to lose," he says. "Tell us what to do." Over the next few hours, the colony transforms into a makeshift repair station. The colonists, hardened by years of survival, work with a precision that surprises Lyra. They scavenge parts from the wreckage, patch up the Stellar Echo's engines, and reinforce its defenses. As they work, Lyra learns their stories, how they settled here to escape the chaos of the galaxy, only to find themselves caught in a war they never asked for. Their resilience strikes a chord within her, a reminder that the stakes of her mission extend far beyond the stars. By the time the ship is ready, the drones have retreated, their eerie hum fading into the distance. But Lyra knows it's only a temporary reprieve. The faction won't stop until they have what they want, and the colonists are now targets just like her. As the Stellar Echo lifts off, its engines humming with renewed strength, she glances at the artifact. Its light pulses steadily, a silent promise of what's to come. The colonists settle into the ship's cargo hold, their faces a mix of exhaustion and cautious hope. Lyra takes her place in the cockpit, her hands steady on the controls. The next Red Dwarf looms ahead, its crimson light a beacon in the void. But this time, she's not alone. The colonists, once strangers, are now allies, bound together by a shared purpose. As the ship accelerates into the unknown, Lyra feels a flicker of something she hasn't felt in a long time. Hope. The artifact's glow brightens, as if sensing her resolve. The journey ahead is fraught with danger, but for the first time, she's not just fighting for answers. She's fighting for the lives of those who have placed their trust in her. And that, she realizes, makes all the difference. The Stellar Echo hums softly as Lyra and the colonists gather in the ship's main hold, the artifact resting on a makeshift table. Its surface glimmers faintly, the alien symbols shifting like liquid under the dim light. The colonists, their faces etched with curiosity and exhaustion, Lean in as Lyra begins to decipher the message. Each symbol seems to pulse with meaning, revealing fragments of a story older than memory. Together, they piece together the truth. The Red Dwarf's energy is not a resource to be exploited, but a force to be safeguarded. Only someone pure of intent, someone selfless and driven by a higher purpose, can wield it without catastrophe. A heavy silence falls over the group. The shadowy faction's motives become chillingly clear. They aren't just seeking power, they're willing to unravel the very fabric of the galaxy to get it. Lyra's chest tightens as the weight of the revelation settles over her. She glances at the artifact, its glow flickering faintly. For the first time, doubt creeps into her mind. Is she any different from them? Her quest began with curiosity, a desire to uncover the universe's secrets. But now, faced with the enormity of what's at stake, she wonders if her own intentions are as pure as they need to be. The colonists notice her hesitation. One of them, a woman with a scar running down her cheek, steps forward. "You're not like them," she says firmly. "If you were, you wouldn't have saved us. You wouldn't be risking everything to protect what's left of this galaxy." Her words are a lifeline, but they don't erase Lyra's unease. The artifact's glow dims slightly, as if reflecting her inner turmoil. Alone in the cockpit later, Lyra stares out at the stars. The red dwarf ahead pulses steadily, its crimson light a silent reminder of the task before her. She thinks about the colonists, their resilience, their trust in her. She thinks about the artifact, its quiet power, and the warning it carries. And she thinks about herself, not just as an astronomer or an explorer, but as someone who now holds the fate of countless lives in her hands. The internal conflict is almost paralyzing. What if her doubt makes her unworthy? What if her curiosity blinds her to the dangers ahead? But as the questions swirl in her mind, a quiet resolve begins to take shape. She doesn't have all the answers, but she knows one thing for certain: turning back isn't an option. The galaxy's survival depends on her ability to rise above her fears, to prove that she's more than her doubts. With a deep breath, Lyra places her hand on the artifact. Its glow brightens slightly, as if responding to her determination. She sets a course for the next red dwarf, her path clear, but her heart still heavy. The colonists watch from the hold, their presence a silent reminder of what's at stake. This isn't just her journey anymore, it's theirs too. As the stellar echo accelerates into the void, Lyra feels a shift within herself. The artifact's light pulses steadily now, its rhythm matching the beat of her heart. It's as if the stars themselves are urging her forward, their ancient whispers a reminder of the balance she must protect. And though the road ahead is uncertain, she knows she's not alone. The colonists, the artifact, the red dwarfs, they're all part of this story. And together, they might just have a chance to save what's left of the galaxy. The cockpit fills with the soft hum of the engines, the stars stretching endlessly before her. Lyra's hands tighten on the controls, her resolve hardening like steel. Whatever comes next, she's ready to face it, not just for herself, but for everyone who depends on her. The artifact's glow brightens, its light a silent affirmation. The mission continues, and so does she. The stellar echo emerges from the void, its engines straining against the chaotic currents of the nebula ahead. Swirling clouds of gas and dust stretch endlessly, their colors shifting from deep purples to fiery oranges. Lyra grips the controls tightly, her knuckles white as the ship shudders under the strain. The nebula's energy disrupts the instruments, rendering the autopilot useless. Every decision now rests in her hands, every movement calculated and precise. Her breath steadies as she guides the ship deeper into the maelstrom, the colonists watching in tense silence from the hold. The nebula is alive. Its energy crackles against the hull, sending sparks dancing across the viewport. Strange, luminous tendrils curl and twist, their movements unpredictable. Lyra's instincts scream at her to turn back, but the artifact's glow pulses steadily, urging her forward. The colonists exchange nervous glances, their faith in her unwavering, but their fear palpable. She knows they're counting on her, and that thought fuels her determination. As the stellar echo pushes through the dense clouds, the silhouette of the third Red Dwarf begins to take shape. Its crimson light filters through the nebula, casting an eerie glow on everything it touches. But what draws Lyra's attention isn't the star itself, it's the massive structure orbiting it. A temple, its architecture both alien and ancient, floats silently in the void. Its walls are adorned with the same intricate symbols as the artifact, their meaning just out of reach. The sight sends a shiver down her spine. The ship's systems flicker as the temple's energy field envelops it. Lyra's hands move swiftly, adjusting the thrusters to maintain control. The colonists murmur as the temple's doors begin to open, their movements slow and deliberate, as if guided by some unseen force. A soft hum fills the cockpit, resonating through the ship and into Lyra's very bones. She exchanges a glance with the colonists, their faces a mix of awe and trepidation. "Stay here," she says, her voice steady despite the pounding in her chest. "I need to see what's inside." Stepping into the temple feels like crossing a threshold into another world. The air is thick with energy, the walls lined with glowing crystals that pulse in rhythm with the artifact in her hand. The chamber stretches endlessly, its ceiling lost in shadows. Symbols etched into the walls come to life as she passes, their light tracing her path. It's as if the temple recognizes her, as if it's been waiting for her arrival. At the center of the chamber lies a pedestal, its surface covered in more of the glowing crystals. The artifact in her hand grows warmer, its light intensifying as she approaches. She places it on the pedestal, and the chamber erupts in a symphony of light and sound. The crystals hum with energy, their glow illuminating the entire space. A holographic projection materializes above the pedestal, an alien figure, its form shimmering like starlight. Its voice resonates through the chamber, ancient and filled with wisdom. "You have come far, seeker of truth," it says, its words echoing in her mind. The Red Dwarfs are not mere stars. They are the heart of the cosmos, their light binding the universe together. But their power is not to be taken. It is to be protected. The artifact you carry is a key, but it is also a test. Only those who understand the balance can wield it without destruction. Before Lyra can respond, the hologram flickers and fades. The chamber falls silent, the crystals dimming slightly. She feels the weight of the hologram's words settle over her, a reminder of the immense responsibility she now carries. But as she turns to leave, a faint sound catches her attention. a low hum, different from the temple's energy. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes what it means. The shadowy faction has found her. The colonists' voices crackle over her comms, their tone urgent. Lyra, we've got company. Their ships are closing in fast. She sprints back to the stellar echo, her mind racing. The temple's doors begin to close behind her, the crystal's glow flickering erratically. The artifact pulses in her hand, its light now tinged with an eerie red. As she reaches the ship, the colonists are already preparing for the worst. The faction's ships loom in the distance, their dark silhouettes a stark contrast to the nebula's vibrant colors. Lyra's hands tighten on the controls, her resolve hardening. The temple's secrets are too important to fall into the wrong hands. Whatever comes next, she'll face it head on. The stellar echo lifts off, its engines roaring to life as the faction's ships close in. The temple's doors seal shut behind them, its crystals glowing faintly as if saying goodbye. Lyra sets her course for the heart of the nebula. The artifacts light a beacon in the chaos. The battle is far from over, and the stakes have never been higher. But as the ship accelerates into the unknown, she feels a flicker of something she hasn't felt in a long time: certainty. The stars are guiding her, and she won't let them down. The temple's chamber is vast, its walls alive with the soft glow of ancient crystals. Lyra's footsteps echo as she moves deeper, her eyes drawn to a massive mural etched into the far wall. The scene is intricate, almost haunting, depicting a civilization of towering, luminous beings, their forms radiating wisdom and power. But the mural tells a darker story, one of pride and downfall. The figures are shown harnessing the energy of the Red Dwarfs, their hands outstretched toward the stars. At first, the scene is one of triumph, but as the mural progresses, the tone shifts. Cracks appear in the stars, their light dimming. The beings' forms fracture, their once majestic figures crumbling into dust. The message is clear: their hubris led to their destruction. Lyra's breath catches as she studies the details. The artifact in her hand begins to hum faintly, its glow intensifying. She feels a strange connection to the mural, as if the ancient beings are reaching out across time, warning her of the same fate. The artifact's vibrations grow stronger, resonating with the crystals embedded in the walls. A harmonic frequency fills the chamber, the sound both soothing and electrifying. The nebula's chaotic energy, visible through the temple's open ceiling, begins to stabilize, the swirling clouds slowing as if calmed by the artifact's power. But the moment of clarity is shattered by the sound of distant explosions. The temple shudders, dust raining from the ceiling. Lyra's comms crackle to life. The colonists' voice is urgent. They are here, the faction, they're breaching the temple. Her heart pounds as she turns toward the entrance, the artifact's light now flickering erratically. The shadowy faction's ships hover outside, their weapons trained on the temple's ancient structure. Lyra's mind races. She can't let them take the artifact, but the temple itself is a treasure trove of knowledge, a relic of a civilization that understood the Red Dwarfs better than anyone. As the faction's forces breach the outer walls, she spots a control panel near the mural, its surface covered in the same glowing symbols as the artifact. Without hesitation, she activates it. The temple's defenses come to life, energy barriers forming at the entrances and turrets. emerging from hidden alcoves. The air fills with the hum of ancient technology, the temple fighting back against its invaders. The battle is fierce. Energy blasts ricochet off the walls, the temple's defenses holding but barely. The colonists' voices grow more frantic over the comms. Lyra, we can't hold them off much longer. You need to get out of there. She glances at the mural, at the crumbling figures of the ancient beings. Their warning echoes in her mind. If the faction succeeds, the same fate could befall the galaxy. But the temple is weakening. Cracks spider across the walls, the crystal's glow fading. The artifact's light pulses urgently, as if urging her to make a choice. Save the temple, with all its knowledge and history, or escape with the artifact, ensuring the faction can't use it for their own ends. The decision weighs heavily on her, every second stretching into an eternity. As the temple groans under the strain of the battle, Lyra makes her choice. She grabs the artifact, its light flaring brighter as she pulls it from the pedestal. The temple's defenses falter, the energy barriers flickering. The faction's forces surge forward, their weapons firing relentlessly. Lyra sprints toward the exit, the colonists' voices guiding her through the chaos. The stellar echo hovers just outside the temple, its engines roaring. The colonists have managed to repel the faction's ships for now, but the temple is collapsing, its ancient structure unable to withstand the damage. Lyra leaps onto the ship, the artifact clutched tightly in her hands. As the stellar echo pulls away, the temple's walls crumble, its crystalline light fading into the nebula's swirling clouds. The colonists watch in silence as the temple disappears, its legacy now entrusted to Lyra and the artifact. The nebula's energy stabilizes once more, the artifact's harmonic frequency restoring balance, but the cost is heavy. The temple, a beacon of ancient wisdom, is gone. Lyra stares at the artifact, its glow steady now, a silent reminder of the responsibility she carries. The journey ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the fate of the Red Dwarfs, and the galaxy itself rests in her hands. The stellar echo accelerates into the void, its path lit by the eternal glow of the stars. As Lyra steels herself for what comes next, the temple trembles violently, its ancient walls groaning under the weight of the faction's assault. Lyra stands at the heart of the chamber, the artifact glowing fiercely in her hands. The colonists' voices echo over the comms, urging her to escape, but she hesitates. Her eyes dart to the mural of the fallen civilization, their story etched in crystal and light. She can't let the same fate befall the galaxy. The artifact hums softly, its energy resonating with the temple's mechanisms. It's not just a tool, it's a guide, a partner, and now, it seems, a test. With a deep breath, Lyra places the artifact back onto the pedestal. The moment it connects, the chamber erupts in a cascade of light. Symbols flare to life across the walls, their patterns shifting like flowing water. The temple's AI, a voice both ancient and serene, fills the space. You have chosen wisely, seeker of balance. The artifact's energy must be used to protect, not to destroy. The faction's forces breach the inner sanctum, their weapons raised, but they're too late. The artifact's light surges, activating the temple's defenses. Energy barriers snap into place, sealing the invaders inside. The temple stabilizes, its walls knitting together as the ancient mechanisms come alive. But the artifact dims, its glow fading to a faint pulse. Lyra's heart sinks as she realizes its energy is all but spent. The AI speaks again, its tone softer now. The artifact is not merely a key, it is a living entity, bound to the Red Dwarfs and the balance they maintain. Your selfless act has restored a fragment of its power, but the journey is far from over. The final Red Dwarf holds the source of the imbalance, and only you can restore it. Lyra's mind races. The artifact, once a mystery, now feels like a part of her. Its faint pulse matches the rhythm of her heartbeat, a silent reminder of the connection they share. But the AI's next words send a chill through her. Be warned, Doctor. Kale, the faction's leader, is closing in. He seeks to harness the Red Dwarf's energy for his own ends, and he will stop at nothing to claim the artifact. The name lingers in the air like a shadow. Dr. Kale, a rogue scientist, once revered for his brilliance, now driven by a dangerous obsession. Lyra knows his reputation, his relentless pursuit of power at any cost. If he reaches the final Red Dwarf before her, the consequences could be catastrophic. The colonists' voices break through her thoughts. Lyra, we're ready to move. The temple's defenses are holding, but we can't stay here. She nods, her resolve hardening. The artifact may be weakened, but it's still her best chance to stop Kale and restore the balance. As the stellar echo lifts off from the temple, Lyra glances back at the ancient structure. Its light flickers faintly, a silent farewell. The artifact rests on the console, its glow dim but steady. The journey ahead is perilous, but for the first time, Lyra feels a sense of clarity. The stars are not just guiding her, they're depending on her, and she won't let them down. The ship accelerates into the void, its path lit by the faint glow of the artifact. The colonists gather in the hold, their faces a mix of exhaustion and determination. Lyra takes her place in the cockpit, her hands steady on the controls. The final Red Dwarf looms ahead, its crimson light a beacon in the darkness. The stakes have never been higher, and the enemy has never been closer. But Lyra knows one thing for certain. The stars are watching, and so is she. The stellar echo glides through the void, its engines humming steadily as Lyra sets a course for the final Red Dwarf. The temple's revelations linger in her mind, a tapestry of warnings and truths woven into the very fabric of her mission. The artifact rests on the console, its glow steady but faint, a silent companion in the vast expanse of space. The colonists, now a tight-knit crew, move about the ship with quiet determination, their trust in her unshaken. Yet, beneath the surface, Lyra feels the weight of the responsibility pressing down on her. The temple's words echo in her thoughts. The artifact is a test, and the balance depends on your choices. As the ship approaches the edge of a dense asteroid field, a sudden beep from the console breaks the silence. A transmission cuts through the static, its signal strong and deliberate. Lyra's heart skips a beat as the screen flickers to life, revealing the face of Doctor Kale. His features are sharp, his eyes cold and calculating, yet there's a flicker of something else, curiosity, perhaps, or even admiration. Lyra, he begins, his voice smooth, but laced with an edge. I've been following your journey. Impressive, truly. But let's not pretend you're not driven by the same hunger I am. The Red Dwarfs hold secrets beyond comprehension. Join me, and together, we can unlock their full potential. The words hang in the air, heavy and loaded. Lyra's jaw tightens, her hands gripping the edge of the console. The Red Dwarfs aren't meant to be exploited, she says, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions rising within her. Their energy is a safeguard, not a resource. I won't let you destroy the balance. Kale's smile is thin, almost pitying. Balance, you think you're any different? You've risked everything for this, for knowledge, for answers. Don't lie to yourself, Lyra. You're chasing the same thing I am. The only difference is, I'm willing to admit it. The transmission cuts out abruptly, leaving the cockpit in silence. But Kale's words linger, sinking into Lyra's thoughts like a poison. She stares at the artifact, its glow flickering faintly, as if reflecting the doubt now churning within her. Is she truly selfless, as the colonists believe, or is she, like Kale, driven by an insatiable thirst for understanding? The artifact's light dims slightly, its pulse uneven, and for the first time, she feels disconnected from it. The colonists watch her from the hold, their expressions a mix of concern and quiet resolve. One of them, a young engineer named Jax, steps forward. Don't let him get to you, he says, his voice firm. We've seen what you're capable of. You're not like him. You're doing this for all of us. Lyra nods, but the doubt remains, a shadow on the edge of her thoughts. She takes a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the final Red Dwarf ahead. Its crimson light shines like a beacon, calling to her, challenging her. The artifact's glow flickers once more, its rhythm unsteady, as if it too is unsure. The stellar echo moves forward, cutting through the darkness with unwavering determination. The final star looms closer, its light casting long shadows across the ship. Lyra's hands tighten on the controls, her resolve hardening even as the questions swirl within her. The artifact's pulse grows stronger, its light brightening slightly, as if sensing her renewed focus. Kale's words may have planted seeds of doubt, but they've also reminded her of what's at stake. The Red Dwarfs are more than stars. They are the guardians of equilibrium, the threads that hold the cosmos together. And whether her motives are pure or not, she knows one thing for certain. She can't let Kale win. The artifact's glow steadies, its light a silent affirmation. The final chapter of this journey is about to unfold, and Lyra is ready to face it, no matter the cost. The stellar echo accelerates, its engines humming with purpose as it closes in on the final Red Dwarf. The colonists prepare for what's to come, their trust in Lyra unwavering. The artifact's light pulses in time with her heartbeat, a reminder of the connection they share. The stars are watching, and so is she, but this time she knows she's not alone. The final Red Dwarf looms ahead, its crimson light cutting through the void like a beacon of both hope and peril. Surrounding it is a massive debris field, a graveyard of shattered ships and broken machinery, testament to the hubris of those who tried to harness the star's energy and failed. Lyra steers the stellar echo through the wreckage, her movements precise but tense. The colonists watch in silence, their faces etched with a mix of awe and fear. The artifact on the console pulses faintly, its light reflecting off the jagged edges of the debris. Each piece of wreckage tells a story, a warning of what happens when ambition outstrips understanding. As the ship inches closer to the Red Dwarf, the sensors blare a sudden alert. Kale's fleet emerges from the shadows, their sleek, menacing ships moving with predatory precision. Before Lyra can react, a barrage of energy beams strikes the stellar echo, disabling its engines and leaving it adrift. The colonists scramble to stabilize the ship, but it's too late. Kale's forces board the vessel, their weapons trained on Lyra and her crew. Resistance is futile. Lyra is dragged aboard Kale's flagship, a massive obsidian-hulled monstrosity that seems to absorb the light around it. The artifact is ripped from her hands, its glow dimming as it's carried away. Kale himself stands at the heart of the ship's command center, his presence as cold and calculating as the void outside. He greets her with a thin smile, his eyes gleaming with a mix of triumph and curiosity. "You've come far, Lyra," he says, his voice smooth but edged with menace. "But this is where your journey ends." He gestures to a holographic projection of the Red Dwarf, its swirling energy fields crackling with untapped power. "The artifact is the key," he continues, his tone almost reverent. "With it, I can control the Red Dwarfs, bend their energy to my will. Imagine it, a galaxy reshaped, not by chaos, but by order." "My order," his words hang in the air, a chilling vision of a future ruled by his ambition. Lyra's mind races. She knows she can't overpower him, not here, not now. But she also knows she can't let him win. With a calm she doesn't feel, she meets his gaze. "And what happens to the balance?" she asks, her voice steady. "What happens when you drain the stars of their energy? The galaxy will collapse, just like the civilizations before us." Kale's smile falters for a moment, but he quickly recovers. "Sacrifices must be made," he says, his tone dismissive. "But you don't have to be on the losing side. Join me, Lyra. Together, we can achieve greatness." Lyra pretends to consider his offer, her expression neutral, but her mind working furiously. She knows she has to play along, if only to buy herself time. She nods slowly, her voice soft but deliberate. "You're right, the galaxy is changing. Maybe it's time to embrace that." Kale's eyes narrow, studying her for a moment before he nods in approval. "Wise choice," he says, though his tone suggests he's not entirely convinced. He turns away, barking orders to his crew, leaving Lyra under guard but unshackled. It's a small window of opportunity, but it's all she needs. As Kale's attention shifts to the artifact, Lyra begins to work. She subtly tests the limits of her guard, her movements casual but calculated. The artifact's faint glow catches her eye, and she feels a flicker of hope. It's still connected to her, still responding to her presence. She just needs to get close enough. The minutes stretch into what feels like hours, the tension in the room palpable. Kale's crew works frantically to activate the artifact, their efforts growing more desperate as its energy proves elusive. Lyra watches, her heart pounding but her mind clear. She knows what's at stake not just for her, but for the entire galaxy. The artifact's glow flickers faintly, as if urging her to act. Finally, the moment comes. A distraction, a malfunction in the ship's systems, caused by the colonists' sabotage of the stellar echo. The lights flicker, and in the chaos, Lyra makes her move. She disarms her guard with a swift, precise strike, her training kicking in as she fights her way toward the artifact. Kale turns, his expression a mix of rage and disbelief, but Lyra is already too close. Her hand closes around the artifact, its light flaring brightly as it reconnects with her. The energy surges through her, a wave of power and clarity that banishes all doubt. She knows what she has to do. The galaxy's fate rests in her hands, and she won't let it fall into Kale's grasp. The ship's alarms blare as Lyra's escape triggers a cascade of failures. She sprints toward the hangar, the artifact's light guiding her through the chaos. Kale's voice echoes behind her, his threats lost in the cacophony. The colonists are waiting, their faces a mix of relief and determination as they prepare to make their escape. The stellar Echo's engines roar to life, the ship tearing free of Kale's flagship as it hurtles toward the Red Dwarf. Lyra grips the artifact tightly, its light steady now, a silent promise of what's to come. The final confrontation is near, and she's ready to face it, not just for herself, but for everyone who depends on her. The stars are watching, and so is she, but this time, she knows she's not alone. The stellar Echo hurtles away from Kale's flagship, its engines roaring as Lyra grips the artifact tightly. The colonist ships dart around her, their pilots maneuvering with precision, born of desperation. Behind them, Kale's fleet looms like a shadow, their weapons firing relentlessly. The colonists' voices crackle over the comms, their words urgent but steady. "We'll cover you, Lyra. Just get to the Red Dwarf." Lyra's heart pounds as she watches their ships veer off, creating a chaotic screen of debris and energy bursts. One by one, the colonists sacrifice their vessels, using them as shields to block Kale's advance. The sight is both devastating and inspiring, a testament to their courage and their belief in her mission. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the cacophony. The artifact in her hands pulses faintly, its light reflecting the resolve in her eyes. As the stellar Echo breaks free of the fray, the final Red Dwarf comes into view. Its crimson glow is mesmerizing, a beacon of both danger and hope. The artifact's light grows brighter, its energy resonating with the star in a way that feels almost alive. Lyra can feel it, an ancient, rhythmic pulse that matches her own heartbeat. It's as if the artifact is speaking to her, urging her forward. She tightens her grip, her thoughts racing. This isn't just about stopping Kale anymore. This is about something far greater. The artifact's glow intensifies, casting long shadows across the cockpit. Lyra's hands tremble slightly as she adjusts the controls, guiding the ship closer to the Red Dwarf. The closer she gets, the stronger the connection feels. It's not just energy, it's a bond, a partnership. The artifact has chosen her, not as a wielder, but as a guardian. The realization hits her like a wave, both humbling and empowering. She's not just fighting for the galaxy, she's fighting for the balance that holds it together. But the moment of clarity is shattered by an alert from the console. Kale's fleet is closing in, their weapons charging for a final assault. The colonist ships are gone, their sacrifice buying her only a brief window. Lyra knows she can't outrun them, not with the stellar Echo battered and its engines strained. She glances at the artifact, its light steady now, almost expectant. It's waiting for her to make a choice. With a deep breath, Lyra sets the ship on autopilot, her hands moving to the artifact. She knows what she has to do. The artifact's energy surges as she activates its final mechanism, a hidden function she hadn't understood until now. The ship's systems light up, the controls responding to the artifact's commands. The stellar echo accelerates, not away from the Red Dwarf, but toward it. Kale's voice crackles over the comms, his tone laced with fury. "You can't escape, Lyra. The artifact belongs to me," but Lyra doesn't respond. Her focus is on the star ahead, its light growing brighter with every passing second. The artifact's glow fills the cockpit, its energy resonating with the Red Dwarf in a way that feels almost musical. It's as if the star itself is calling to her, guiding her. As the stellar echo enters the star's corona, Kale's fleet hesitates, their ships unable to withstand the intense heat and radiation. Lyra feels the artifact's energy envelop her, a protective shield against the star's fury. She steps away from the controls, her hands glowing faintly as the artifact's power flows through her. This is it, the moment she's been preparing for, the moment she must prove herself worthy. The artifact's light flares, and suddenly, everything changes. The cockpit dissolves, replaced by a vast, luminous expanse. Lyra stands at the center of it, the artifact in her hands, its light merging with the Red Dwarf's energy. She feels the weight of the galaxy's balance in her hands, the responsibility of countless lives resting on her shoulders. But there's no fear, only determination. Kale's voice echoes in the void, his presence a shadow against the light. He steps forward, his expression a mix of rage and desperation. "You don't understand, Lyra. The power of the Red Dwarfs could change everything. We could reshape the galaxy, make it better." Lyra meets his gaze, her voice steady. "At what cost?" "The balance isn't something we can control. It's something we have to protect." Kale lunges, his hands reaching for the artifact, but Lyra stands her ground. The artifact's light surges, its energy pushing him back. The final confrontation has begun, and Lyra knows there's no turning back. The stars are watching, and so is she. But this time, she's ready to face the challenge head-on. The artifact's glow brightens, its light a testament to her resolve. The galaxy's fate hangs in the balance, and Lyra is determined to protect it, no matter the cost. The heart of the final Red Dwarf is unlike anything Lyra has ever seen. Before her stretches a vast crystalline structure, its surface shimmering with the star's crimson energy. Each facet pulses rhythmically, as if the structure itself is alive, breathing in sync with the artifact in her hands. The air, or what passes for air in this place, hums with a low, resonant frequency, a sound that seems to reverberate through her very soul. This is the source, the core of the Red Dwarf's power, and the key to restoring the balance. But as she steps closer, a shadow falls across the luminous surface. Kale emerges from the darkness, his figure silhouetted against the structure's glow. His expression is unreadable, a mix of frustration and something darker, desperation, perhaps. He steps forward, his voice cutting through the hum like a blade. "You don't understand what you're holding, Lyra," he says, his tone sharp but tinged with a strange urgency. The artifact isn't a tool for balance. It's a weapon, one that can reshape the galaxy in ways you can't even imagine. Give it to me. Together, we can unlock its true potential. Lyra's grip on the artifact tightens, its light flaring brighter in response. She meets Kale's gaze, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions churning within her. You're wrong. This isn't about power or control. It's about protecting something far greater than either of us. The Red Dwarfs aren't just stars. They're the threads that hold the universe together. I won't let you unravel them. Kale's lips twist into a bitter smile. You think you're so different from me. You've risked everything for this. Your life, the lives of others. Don't pretend your motives are any purer than mine. You're driven by the same thirst for knowledge, the same need to uncover the truth. The only difference is, I'm willing to use it. His words strike a nerve, and for a moment, Lyra falters. Is he right? Has her quest for understanding blinded her to the risks? But then she feels it. The artifact's pulse, steady and reassuring, a reminder of the connection they share. It's not just energy, it's trust, a bond forged through sacrifice and resolve. She straightens, her voice firm. I'm not like you, Kale. I'm not here to control the stars. I'm here to protect them. The tension between them crackles like static, the air thick with unspoken stakes. Kale's hand twitches toward his weapon, his patience wearing thin. Last chance, Lyra. Give me the artifact, or I'll take it from you. Before she can respond, the crystalline structure around them begins to shudder, its rhythmic pulse growing erratic. Cracks spider across its surface, and the light within flickers dangerously. The artifact in Lyra's hands flares brighter, its energy resonating with the structure in a way that feels almost frantic. She realizes what's happening. The balance is destabilizing, the Red Dwarf's energy spiraling out of control. Kale's eyes widen as he takes in the scene, his bravado faltering for the first time. What have you done? He demands, his voice rising in panic. Lyra doesn't answer. She doesn't have time. The artifact's light intensifies, its energy flowing into her, guiding her. She steps forward, her movements deliberate, and places the artifact onto a pedestal at the center of the structure. The moment it connects, the entire chamber erupts in a blinding flash of light. The hum grows deafening, the air vibrating with raw power. Kale stumbles back, shielding his eyes from the brilliance. You're going to destroy us both. He shouts, his voice barely audible over the roar of energy. But Lyra stands firm, her hands resting on the artifact. She can feel it now, the weight of the galaxy's balance, the delicate threads that hold it together. The artifact's light pulses in time with her heartbeat, its energy flowing through her, steady and unyielding. She knows what she has to do. The structure around them groans, the cracks spreading faster, the light flickering erratically. Kale lunges toward her, his desperation evident, but the artifact's energy pushes him back, its light forming a protective barrier. Lyra's voice cuts through the chaos, calm but resolute. This isn't about power, Kale. It's about responsibility, and I won't let you destroy what I've sworn to protect. The chamber shakes violently, the light growing brighter and brighter until it's almost unbearable. The artifact's glow reaches its peak, and with a final, deafening pulse, the structure stabilizes. The cracks mend, the light steadies, and the hum fades into a soft, rhythmic pulse. The balance is restored. Kale collapses to his knees, his expression a mix of shock and defeat. Lyra steps away from the artifact, her hands trembling but her resolve unshaken. The artifact's light dims slightly, its energy spent, but its purpose fulfilled. She knows the journey isn't over, but for now, the galaxy is safe, and that's enough. The heart of the Red Dwarf pulses softly, its light a silent testament to the battle fought, and the balance restored. Lyra takes a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the artifact. The stars are watching, and so is she, and this time, she knows she's made the right choice. The chamber is alive with energy, the Red Dwarf's crimson light pulsing in time with Lyra's heartbeat. Kale's shadow looms behind her, his desperation palpable as he scrambles to seize the artifact. But Lyra's focus is unshakable. She raises the artifact high, its glow intensifying as it resonates with the star's core. The air crackles with power, and for a moment, everything seems to hold its breath. With a surge of determination, Lyra channels the artifact's energy into the crystalline structure. The Red Dwarf responds, its light flaring brighter as a shimmering barrier erupts around Kale and his forces. The barrier is unlike anything Lyra has ever seen, a lattice of light and energy, intricate and unyielding. Kale's expression shifts from rage to disbelief as he realizes he's trapped, his hands pressing futilely against the glowing wall. "You can't do this," he shouts, his voice tinged with desperation. "You'll destroy yourself." Lyra doesn't respond. She knows what she has to do. The artifact's energy flows through her, merging with her own in a way that feels both exhilarating and terrifying. It's as if the star itself is speaking to her, its voice a whisper of warmth and wisdom. She feels the weight of the galaxy's balance in her hands, the responsibility of countless lives resting on her shoulders. And she knows there's no turning back. The barrier pulses steadily, its light growing stronger as Lyra pours her energy into it. Her vision blurs, the artifact's glow merging with her own, until she can no longer tell where one ends and the other begins. She feels herself fading, her physical form dissolving into the star's light, but there's no fear, only peace. This isn't an end, it's a transformation. As the barrier solidifies, trapping Kale and his forces, Lyra's consciousness expands. She feels the Red Dwarf's energy coursing through her, its ancient power, a symphony of light and sound. The artifact's final message echoes in her mind, soft but clear. The eternal glow is not power, but harmony. The words settle over her like a blanket, a reminder of the truth she's always known, but only now fully understands. The galaxy feels different now, its balance restored. The stars shine a little brighter, their light more steady and sure. The colonists, watching from afar, feel it too, a shift in the air, a sense of calm that wasn't there before. The stellar echo drifts in the void, its engine silent, a testament to the sacrifice that made this moment possible. And in the heart of the Red Dwarf, Lyra's presence lingers, a quiet guardian, watching over the stars she once studied from afar. Her story doesn't end here. It becomes part of the galaxy itself, a thread woven into the fabric of the cosmos. The artifact's light fades, its purpose fulfilled, but its message remains. Harmony is the true power, the force that binds the universe together. The colonists gather on the Stellar Echo's bridge, their faces a mix of grief and gratitude. One by one, they share stories of Lyra, her courage, her curiosity, her unwavering belief in the balance she fought to protect. The artifact's glow may have dimmed, but its legacy lives on in the lives she touched and the galaxy she saved. As the ship drifts away from the Red Dwarf, its engines humming softly, the colonists look out at the stars. They shine brighter now, their light a silent tribute to Lyra's sacrifice. The journey isn't over, but the path is clearer. The stars are watching, and so are they. And in their hearts, Lyra's presence remains, a beacon of hope and harmony in the endless expanse of space. The galaxy breathes a sigh of relief, its balance restored, and its stars shining with renewed brilliance. But the cost of this victory weighs heavily on the hearts of those who knew Lyra. The colonists, now safe and united, gather on a remote asteroid to honor her sacrifice. They build a monument, its towering spire, crafted from the same crystalline material as the temple, its surface etched with symbols of harmony and light. Each symbol tells a part of Lyra's story, her courage, her curiosity, and her unwavering commitment to the balance she fought to protect. The colonists stand together in silence, their grief mingling with gratitude. To them, Lyra is gone, her final act a testament to the selflessness that defined her. Yet unbeknownst to them, Lyra's presence endures. Her consciousness has merged with the Red Dwarf, becoming one with the star's eternal glow. From this new vantage point, she watches over the galaxy, her essence woven into the fabric of the cosmos. She feels the ebb and flow of its energy, the delicate threads of balance she works so hard to protect. The artifact, now dim and lifeless, rests within the monument, its purpose fulfilled, but the Red Dwarfs continue to shine, their light a quiet tribute to Lyra's legacy. The colonists return to their lives, carrying her memory with them. They speak of her often, sharing stories of her bravery and the lessons she taught them. The stellar echo, now a relic of her journey, becomes a symbol of hope, its hull bearing the scars of battles fought and won. The colonists vow to uphold the balance Lyra sacrificed everything to protect, ensuring her legacy lives on in their actions. Meanwhile, Lyra's consciousness drifts among the stars, a silent observer of the galaxy she saved. She feels the pulse of the Red Dwarfs, their steady light a reminder of the harmony she restored. Though she can no longer interact with the world as she once did, her presence is felt in the quiet moments, when a star flickers just a little brighter, or when the colonists feel a strange sense of peace under the night sky. She is the galaxy's eternal guardian, her spirit a part of the cosmic dance that keeps everything in balance. The artifact's glow may have faded, but its message remains. Harmony is not something to be conquered or controlled. It is a delicate equilibrium, a shared responsibility. The colonists understand this now, their lives forever changed by Lyra's sacrifice. They look to the stars with a newfound reverence, knowing that somewhere in their light, Lyra watches over them. The galaxy moves forward, its future brighter than ever. The Red Dwarfs continue to shine, their light a beacon of hope and a reminder of the courage it takes to protect what truly matters. And as the colonists gaze at the night sky, they feel a quiet connection to Lyra, a bond that transcends time and space. Her story may have ended, but her presence lingers, a silent guardian of the stars she once called home. Years have passed since Lyra's sacrifice, and the galaxy has settled into a fragile peace. On a quiet observatory, perched on the edge of a distant planet, a young astronomer named Illyra leans into the eyepiece of a telescope, her gaze fixed on the faint, crimson glow of the Red Dwarfs. The stars shimmer softly, their light steady and unwavering, a stark contrast to the stories she's grown up hearing. To most, they are just ancient stars, quietly burning in the vastness of space. But to Illyra, they are something more, a legacy, a call to adventure, and a reminder of the delicate balance that holds the universe together. The telescope hums faintly, its lenses calibrated to capture the faintest traces of light. As Illyra adjusts the focus, she notices something unusual. The Red Dwarfs seem to flicker, their steady glow interrupted by brief pulses of energy. At first, she dismisses it as a trick of the atmosphere or a glitch in the equipment. But the pulses are rhythmic, almost deliberate, like a heartbeat echoing across the void. She leans closer, her breath catching as the faint hum of the stars grows louder, resonating through the telescope and into her very core. It's as if the stars are speaking, their whispers carrying a name she knows all too well, Lyra. Illyra steps back, her heart racing. She's heard the stories of the astronomer who gave everything to protect the galaxy, who became one with the stars she loved. The tales had always felt distant, like legends from another time, but now, standing under the vast expanse of the night sky, she feels a connection she can't explain. The Red Dwarf's light seems to beckon her, their glow a silent invitation to step into the unknown. The observatory's door creaks open, and Illyra's mentor, a seasoned astronomer named Jovan, steps inside. His weathered face softens as he notices her expression. "You feel it too, don't you?" he asks, his voice tinged with both pride and caution. The stars have a way of calling to those who listen. Illyra nods, her eyes still fixed on the telescope. It's like they are trying to tell me something, like they are waiting for someone to continue the story. Jovan places a hand on her shoulder, his touch steady and reassuring. The galaxy is at peace, but the balance is never guaranteed. The Red Dwarfs are more than stars, Illyra. They're guardians, and their light is a reminder that there's always more to discover, more to protect. If you feel the call, it's because you're ready to answer it. Illyra looks at him, her resolve hardening. She's always dreamed of exploring the stars, of uncovering the secrets hidden in their light, but this feels different. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about purpose. The faint hum of the Red Dwarfs grows louder, their pulse steady and insistent. It's a call she can't ignore. As she steps outside, the night sky stretches endlessly above her. The Red Dwarf's crimson glow a beacon in the darkness. The air is crisp, the silence profound, and for a moment, it feels as though the entire galaxy is holding its breath. Illyra closes her eyes, letting the stars' whispers wash over her. She doesn't know what lies ahead, but she knows one thing for certain: the story isn't over. The Red Dwarfs are still there, their light eternal, and their secrets waiting to be uncovered. And somewhere in their glow, Lyra's presence lingers, a silent guide for the next generation of explorers. Illyra takes a deep breath, her gaze returning to the stars. The faint hum grows louder, a symphony of light and sound that seems to say, "It's your turn now." and with a quiet determination, she steps forward, ready to answer the call. The galaxy is at peace, but the eternal glow of the Red Dwarfs remains a beacon of hope and mystery, waiting for the next guardian to rise. The chamber is alive with energy, the Red Dwarf's crimson, light pulsing in time with Lyra's heartbeat. Kale's shadow looms behind her, his desperation palpable as he scrambles to seize the artifact. But Lyra's focus is unshakable. She raises the artifact high, its glow intensifying as it resonates with the star's core. The air crackles with power, and for a moment, everything seems to hold its breath. With a surge of determination, Lyra channels the artifact's energy into the crystalline structure. The Red Dwarf responds, its light flaring brighter as a shimmering barrier erupts around Kale and his forces. The barrier is unlike anything Lyra has ever seen, a lattice of light and energy, intricate and unyielding. Kale's expression shifts from rage to disbelief as he realizes he's trapped, his hands pressing futilely against the glowing wall. "You can't do this," he shouts, his voice tinged with desperation. "You'll destroy yourself." Lyra doesn't respond. She knows what she has to do. The artifact's energy flows through her, merging with her own in a way that feels both exhilarating and terrifying. It's as if the star itself is speaking to her, its voice a whisper of warmth and wisdom. She feels the weight of the galaxy's balance in her hands, the responsibility of countless lives resting on her shoulders. And she knows there's no turning back. The barrier pulses steadily, its light growing stronger as Lyra pours her energy into it. Her vision blurs, the artifact's glow merging with her own, until she can no longer tell where one ends and the other begins. She feels herself fading, her physical form dissolving into the star's light. But there's no fear, only peace. This isn't an end, it's a transformation. As the barrier solidifies, trapping Kale and his forces, Lyra's consciousness expands. She feels the Red Dwarf's energy coursing through her, its ancient power, a symphony of light and sound. The artifact's final message echoes in her mind, soft but clear. The eternal glow is not power, but harmony. The words settle over her like a blanket, a reminder of the truth she's always known, but only now fully understands. The galaxy feels different now, its balance restored. The stars shine a little brighter, their light more steady and sure. The colonists, watching from afar, feel it too, a shift in the air, a sense of calm that wasn't there before. The stellar echo drifts in the void, its engine silent, a testament to the sacrifice that made this moment possible. And in the heart of the Red Dwarf, Lyra's presence lingers, a quiet guardian, watching over the stars she once studied from afar. Her story doesn't end here. It becomes part of the galaxy itself, a thread woven into the fabric of the cosmos. The artifact's light fades, its purpose fulfilled, but its message remains. Harmony is the true power, the force that binds the universe together. The colonists gather on the Stellar Echo's bridge, their faces a mix of grief and gratitude. One by one, they share stories of Lyra, her courage, her curiosity, her unwavering belief in the balance she fought to protect. The artifact's glow may have dimmed, but its legacy lives on in the lives she touched and the galaxy she saved. As the ship drifts away from the Red Dwarf, its engines humming softly, the colonists look out at the stars. They shine brighter now, their light a silent tribute to Lyra's sacrifice. The journey isn't over, but the path is clearer. The stars are watching, and so are they. And in their hearts, Lyra's presence remains, a beacon of hope and harmony in the endless expanse of space. The galaxy breathes a sigh of relief, its balance restored, and its stars shining with renewed brilliance. But the cost of this victory weighs heavily on the hearts of those who knew Lyra. The colonists, now safe and united, gather on a remote asteroid to honor her sacrifice. They build a monument, its towering spire, crafted from the same crystalline material as the temple, its surface etched with symbols of harmony and light. Each symbol tells a part of Lyra's story, her courage, her curiosity, and her unwavering commitment to the balance she fought to protect. The colonists stand together in silence, their grief mingling with gratitude. To them, Lyra is gone, her final act a testament to the selflessness that defined her. Yet unbeknownst to them, Lyra's presence endures. Her consciousness has merged with the Red Dwarf, becoming one with the star's eternal glow. From this new vantage point, she watches over the galaxy, her essence woven into the fabric of the cosmos. She feels the ebb and flow of its energy, the delicate threads of balance she works so hard to protect. The artifact, now dim and lifeless, rests within the monument, its purpose fulfilled. But the Red Dwarfs continue to shine, their light a quiet tribute to Lyra's legacy. The colonists return to their lives, carrying her memory with them. They speak of her often, sharing stories of her bravery and the lessons she taught them. The stellar echo, now a relic of her journey, becomes a symbol of hope, its hull bearing the scars of battles fought and won. The colonists vow to uphold the balance Lyra sacrificed everything to protect, ensuring her legacy lives on in their actions. Meanwhile, Lyra's consciousness drifts among the stars, a silent observer of the galaxy she saved. She feels the pulse of the Red Dwarfs, their steady light a reminder of the harmony she restored. Though she can no longer interact with the world as she once did, her presence is felt in the quiet moments, when a star flickers just a little brighter, or when the colonists feel a strange sense of peace under the night sky. She is the galaxy's eternal guardian, her spirit a part of the cosmic dance that keeps everything in balance. The artifact's glow may have faded, but its message remains. Harmony is not something to be conquered or controlled. It is a delicate equilibrium, a shared responsibility. The colonists understand this now, their lives forever changed by Lyra's sacrifice. They look to the stars with a newfound reverence, knowing that somewhere in their light, Lyra watches over them. The galaxy moves forward, its future brighter than ever. The Red Dwarfs continue to shine, their light a beacon of hope and a reminder of the courage it takes to protect what truly matters. And as the colonists gaze at the night sky, they feel a quiet connection to Lyra, a bond that transcends time and space. Her story may have ended, but her presence lingers, a silent guardian of the stars she once called home. Years have passed since Lyra's sacrifice, and the galaxy has settled into a fragile peace. On a quiet observatory, perched on the edge of a distant planet, a young astronomer named Illyra leans into the eyepiece of a telescope, her gaze fixed on the faint, crimson glow of the Red Dwarfs. The stars shimmer softly, their light steady and unwavering, a stark contrast to the stories she's grown up hearing. To most, they are just ancient stars, quietly burning in the vastness of space. But to Illyra, they are something more, a legacy, a call to adventure, and a reminder of the delicate balance that holds the universe together. The telescope hums faintly, its lenses calibrated to capture the faintest traces of light. As Illyra adjusts the focus, she notices something unusual. The red dwarfs seem to flicker, their steady glow interrupted by brief pulses of energy. At first, she dismisses it as a trick of the atmosphere or a glitch in the equipment. But the pulses are rhythmic, almost deliberate, like a heartbeat echoing across the void. She leans closer, her breath catching as the faint hum of the stars grows louder, resonating through the telescope and into her very core. It's as if the stars are speaking, their whispers carrying a name she knows all too well, Lyra. Illyra steps back, her heart racing. She's heard the stories of the astronomer who gave everything to protect the galaxy, who became one with the stars she loved. The tales had always felt distant, like legends from another time, but now, standing under the vast expanse of the night sky, she feels a connection she can't explain. The red dwarf's light seems to beckon her, their glow a silent invitation to step into the unknown. The observatory's door creaks open, and Illyra's mentor, a seasoned astronomer named Jovan, steps inside. His weathered face softens as he notices her expression. "You feel it too, don't you?" he asks, his voice tinged with both pride and caution. The stars have a way of calling to those who listen. Illyra nods, her eyes still fixed on the telescope. It's like they are trying to tell me something, like they are waiting for someone to continue the story. Jovan places a hand on her shoulder, his touch steady and reassuring. The galaxy is at peace, but the balance is never guaranteed. The red dwarfs are more than stars, Illyra. They are guardians, and their light is a reminder that there's always more to discover, more to protect. If you feel the call, it's because you're ready to answer it. Illyra looks at him, her resolve hardening. She's always dreamed of exploring the stars, of uncovering the secrets hidden in their light, but this feels different. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about purpose. The faint hum of the red dwarfs grows louder, their pulse steady and insistent. It's a call she can't ignore. As she steps outside, the night sky stretches endlessly above her. The red dwarfs crimson glow a beacon in the darkness. The air is crisp, the silence profound, and for a moment, it feels as though the entire galaxy is holding its breath. Illyra closes her eyes, letting the stars' whispers wash over her. She doesn't know what lies ahead, but she knows one thing for certain: the story isn't over. The red dwarfs are still there, their light eternal, and their secrets waiting to be uncovered. And somewhere in their glow, Lyra's presence lingers, a silent guide for the next generation of explorers. Illyra takes a deep breath, her gaze returning to the stars. The faint hum grows louder, a symphony of light and sound that seems to say, "It's your turn now." And with a quiet determination, she steps forward, ready to answer the call. The galaxy is at peace, but the eternal glow of the red dwarfs remains a beacon of hope and mystery, waiting for the next guardian to rise. The galaxy thrives, its stars shining brighter than ever, their light a testament to the balance Lyra fought so hard to restore. Her sacrifice echoes across the cosmos, a ripple of hope and harmony that touches every corner of existence. The Red Dwarfs, once seen as ancient and unremarkable, now stand as beacons of something far greater, a reminder that the universe's true strength lies not in power, but in unity. Their crimson glow pulses steadily, a silent tribute to the astronomer who gave everything to protect them. For those who knew her, Lyra's legacy is more than a story. It's a guiding light, a call to seek knowledge with humility and purpose. Across the galaxy, observatories and colonies alike reflect on her journey. Children gaze at the stars, their imaginations ignited by tales of courage and sacrifice. Scientists and explorers, inspired by her example, approach their work with a renewed sense of responsibility. The artifact, now resting within the monument, serves as a symbol of what can be achieved when curiosity is paired with compassion. It's a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is not just about discovery, but about understanding our place in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. The stellar echo, once a vessel of exploration and survival, has become a place of pilgrimage. Visitors from distant worlds come to see the ship that carried Lyra on her final journey, its hull bearing the scars of battles fought and won. They walk its corridors, feeling the weight of history and the quiet presence of the stars that guided her. The colonists, now thriving under the light of the Red Dwarfs, share their stories with these visitors, ensuring that Lyra's legacy lives on in the hearts of all who hear them. But Lyra's influence extends beyond the physical. Her spirit, woven into the fabric of the stars, continues to inspire. Astronomers report strange phenomena, pulses of light from the Red Dwarfs that seem to carry a message, a whisper of encouragement for those who listen. Some say it's coincidence, but others believe it's Lyra, her presence still watching over the galaxy she loved. Whether myth or reality, the idea brings comfort to those who feel her absence, a reminder that her sacrifice was not in vain. As the years pass, the galaxy grows stronger, its people united by the lessons Lyra taught. The balance she restored remains fragile, but the knowledge of what's at stake keeps it intact. The Red Dwarfs, once taken for granted, are now revered as guardians of harmony, their light a symbol of what can be achieved when selflessness triumphs over ambition. Lyra's journey, though marked by loss, has brought peace to the cosmos, proving that the eternal glow is more than a physical phenomenon. It's a testament to the power of hope, unity, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. And so, under the steady light of the Red Dwarfs, the galaxy moves forward. The stars continue to shine, their glow a beacon of balance and possibility. Lyra's story may have ended, but her legacy lives on, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, one person's actions can change the course of history. The eternal glow is not just a light in the darkness, it's a promise, a call to protect what matters most, and a testament to the enduring power of harmony.